All right, so we talked about what causes chemical reactions. Now I want to talk about the energy of chemical reactions. So the first thing we need to understand is potential energy. Potential energy is the energy that is stored in something. So think about the energy stored in your body. You eat some food and your body stores that as potential energy. That energy then is used when you're walking or you're running or engaging in any kind of physical activity. When we think of molecules, chemical potential energy is the energy stored in the bonds, right? So there's some sort of energy that holds it together. And so chemical potential energy is going to either be absorbed or released by this or released into the surroundings. So what we mean is the chemical potential in the bonds is got to go somewhere. And where it goes is going to help determine the type of reaction that we have. So in chemical potential energy, let's say you start a campfire. So there's chemical potential energy in the bonds of the wood. The wood is burned up in the fire and it becomes charcoal or ash. So that makes the chemical potential energy in the bonds of the wood release to the surroundings. That gives off that heat, right? So that's an example of an exothermic reaction. When energy is released to the surroundings, we call that an exothermic reaction. The other type is an endothermic reaction, where energy is absorbed from the surroundings into whatever the system is. So if we look at photosynthesis, right, in this case, that's an example of an endothermic reaction. You have light coming down from the sun being absorbed by the plants. The plants then take that energy from the sun and they use it to produce sugars, which allow them to grow. Okay, so that's an example of an endothermic reaction because the energy is being absorbed. Okay, so those are two situations where we have a chemical reaction, what's happening with the energy, and we want to be able to understand that. So for the first milestone, I want you to think about an exothermic and an endothermic reaction or process. So the hint is you could think about phase change, what's happening with the energy of phase change, but also see if you can come up with a chemical reaction where you have an exothermic reaction and an endothermic reaction. Okay. All right.